We are so back. Hey, just had to reboot the old PC. You know how it is. We're getting some good row though. Shooting star? No, I'm not sad. How could I be sad under Portal 1? I don't think it's possible. Anyways, we were talking HDR a minute ago. The HDR exposures got done while the stream was dead. And we're on to the 2-minute exposures now, which are very juicy, I will say. They're looking great. As you can see, the Milky Way looks pretty great too. I have not looked at it yet tonight because I've been facing the stream, but it looks great. And it's a great, perfectly clear night. Oh, and thanks about the Pons Brooks shot. That was a tough one because um, it was very low on the horizon, not a lot of time. I shot that one from Namibia, and it turned out really good. I think I nailed my editing on that one personally. I don't think I've done a comet edit that good in a while. It just had like a nice feel to it, which I don't think I've been able to do before. So I'm very happy with that one. I've been trying to up my game when it comes to processing of stars. That's been like something I've been trying to focus on a lot more lately, and we're making gains. Yeah, who needs TV when you have Portal 1 and Milky Way? I concur. These stars look surprisingly tasteful on the Rasa. I actually really like this lens flaring that I'm getting from it. It looks like it's got Star Spikes Pro in there by default. But I know this diffraction is really just coming off of like 8 zip ties and probably the photon cage pattern. I bet it's the photon cage where you get the 6 James Webb style spikes. And then the rest of them have got to just be the zip ties. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to shoot them my way. I'm just going to be here chilling, talking about space. I do have a, I got a question here. Looking at web-controlled power switch, price tag on the TP-Link is better than digital loggers, but I like that the DLI has Ethernet. Has it been reliable for you at a remote observatory? Um, Honestly, I wouldn't even say necessarily that the digital loggers are entirely reliable themselves. All of them are subject to their own failures at some points. I did an install with a TP-Link about 3 months ago, and the TP-Link has been fine for me. I just put a TP-Link on my observatory here, and so far so good. The one thing I don't like about the DLIs is that they're quite difficult to well, one, their setup is clunky, the website's clunky. How often do you actually use it? It's usually pretty rare. I just like using it through the phone app. That's just me. It feels like more modern. If you use the digital loggers one, it'll feel like you're using something from the 90s, to be quite honest. Photon cage. There's a cool video waiting to happen. A real deal tilt correction video. I would. I'm not going to make that. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll make a tutorial for the observatory, but man, tip tilt is not fun. I don't enjoy it. I can barely. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say I can barely do it myself. I can do it. It just takes a long time. It's very intensive labor trying to get it right. And it's never fun. It's never fun to do. It took me like an hour and a half last night. All the video would be is just me like angrily grunting at the telescope, which I don't know, maybe it would be entertaining, but opening the B-Link tonight for shipping. Any specific formatting of program installation that I need to do before shipping to you? No, there's nothing that you really have to do. I will say, it'll be nice if you put your remote desktop software on it. So that once it's connected to the internet, that you'll just be able to see it automatically, and it'll be installed, and it'll be super easy and logged in. Because otherwise, uh, I'll have to install AnyDesk and then give you the code. Either way, we'll be able to get you settled if you want to just ship it straight up. Ship it. If you take pity on me for the telescope labor, then it wouldn't hurt to put on your remote desktop software, and that's all you really have to do. Um, we'll also configure your BIOS for you to automatically reboot if the power cycles, which is going to be very, very lovely to have. Tilt correction is extremely intense with bobs, knobs, and sag. Oh, are you using an SCT? Bob's knobs, as far as I know, are only on for collimation. But yeah, tip tilt's never fun. I've tip tilted a number of Takahashis, Delta Rho. It hasn't been the best of times doing tip tilt, but I can do it. Edge HD 8. That's interesting that you have sag on the Edge HD. I would think your train would be pretty rigid, but I guess if you have a Crayford on the back, you might have some sag. If you are dealing with a bad amount of sag on your focuser train, I would say you should point your telescope at zenith and do all your tip tilt and stuff at zenith. That way you can at least normalize for the sag problem, and you should have a slightly easier time that way, I would think. This Rho shot is going to be a banger. Yeah, the ZWO tilter is not the finest tip tilt experience you'll encounter. I will say that. Yeah, anyways, I'm working on a lot of projects right now, imaging projects. Some I can't really talk about quite yet. I mentioned one earlier in the stream, Supernova Remnant I've been working on for over a year. That one should be out in like a month. I did pick up on another supernova in the southern hemisphere 2 nights ago. It's one that's called G315.1. It's a known supernova remnant in Centaurus, but one thing I like to do is look at supernova remnants that are not known to have optical emission or only have HA, and then I go check them in O3 just to see what's going on. Because O3 is such a poorly studied gas line. Usually you have a fair shot of finding something cool, and so we did a couple days ago. So got some interesting new targets coming down the pipeline, but it is nice to shoot something regular for once like Rho, because this is just very easily pretty. Not much has to be done to make this pretty, but you would cringe at some of the things that need to be done to the other photos to make them pretty. These stars look really, really nice. I'm quite happy with the Rasa. So the thing that makes Rho Ophiuchi so cool, for those who don't know, this is what's called a molecular complex, which is just like a tight-knit bound group of different gases and star-forming areas. And what's special about Rho compared to other parts in the sky is that it contains yellow reflection nebula. So surrounding the star Antares here, the light from it gets diffused through all this dust and it casts all of it in this orange-yellow hue, which you basically never see anywhere else in the sky. But not only does it have that, it's got a little bit of blue too. So it has the standard blue reflection nebula, like all this stuff here, which is of course beautiful. It's got some Herbig-Haro or interesting new stellar objects like this thing right here. There's lots of tiny little nuggets in here that are all interesting to look at. It's also got globular clusters, so these are tight-knit, gravitationally bound groups of stars. There's actually a number of them inside Rho. One of them is a Messier object, and even apart from that, there is all this intricate dark nebula going on. Rho has really just got it all. It's got it all going on. Let's see if we can't move the camera around and point at some other parts of the sky. Give you all a little bit more of a night sky tour. I'll show you my friend Ian's telescope as well, which is currently imaging. So here's Ian's telescope. He's got a Borg 107. Oh, he's going. He said, "Nah, I hate Rho." He's trying to comp stomp me right now. Yeah, you better slew. So he was trying to do Rho. I think he threw in the towel on it, which is totally reasonable because I'm going to get a better shot anyways. And now he's on Veil, somewhere in Cygnus. So we do have, we've got some other telescopes in here running already. Like that one over there is doing a little Rho. There's my red cat in the corner. It's currently shooting shooting the Veil right now. So we got two scopes in here on Cygnus, and then there is the Milky Way in all her beauty. So here I can actually give you guys a real-time difference in F number. My lens right here is at f1.4, and if I stop it down, okay, so my Rasa is here at f2. If I were shooting this with my red cat, this is comparably how bright the difference is. Obviously, night and day difference in how much light you can grab, but pretty insane. So, for those who don't know much about the Milky Way, over here, where's my finger? This right here is the Milky Way core, and you can see that little red spot right there. That is the Lagoon Nebula. And up here, this little orange star at the end of the doodad, this is Rho Ophiuchi, where my telescope is currently pointed. So looking in this direction, this is looking towards the core of our galaxy. Somewhere behind those dust clouds are a supermassive black hole in the middle of it all. This little bright region in the center of the frame, that's called Messier 24. It's the small Sagittarius star cloud. It's a really dense collection of stars in Sagittarius. And if we work our way down, we get into some of the other mid-regions of the Milky Way, like Vulpecula, Aquila, Lyra. There isn't too much going on in this part of the Milky Way apart from like dust, stars. There's a couple planetary nebulae, but once we get over here, this part of the Milky Way is called Cygnus, and there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of emission nebula, like right here. That is the North America Nebula, which is a very, very intense emission nebula, where a bunch of newborn stars are being made, and you can tell that it's kind of pink. And you can also see that up here, the whole sky is also very pink. And that's because this whole part of the sky loosely is filled with hydrogen alpha emission lines, because it's all just covered with star forming regions. Different nebulas, supernova remnants, it's all very intense, and there's a lot happening right there. And then down over here, Cepheus and Cassiopeia are starting to rise. They won't be out until later, but there they are. I am tangling myself up in a cable. Alright, so over here, you can see there's a lot of green airglow, which is very pretty. Directly in the center of the frame, that's the North Star Polaris. That's what we use to do our polar alignment. Everything in the sky rotates around this star, basically in a fashion like this. So the whole sky spins visually around that star, and so that's the way our mounts work, is they will just spin on that axis. There's the Big Dipper, bunch of airglow. You can thank Solar Maximum for all the nice airglow out right now. It's going to look pretty cool in some Milky Way photos. There you can see the Milky Way bulge is just looking super bright. But it's pretty incredible skies out here, guys, as you can see. This is a very, very, very dark, dark sight. Alright. Now to try and find my tripod again, because I cannot see anything in here because it's too dark. I'm trying to pick a good framing here to get most of the milk in. It's looking nice. So it looks like Rho is still doing its job. My Ioptron is losing its mind, as per usual. Alright, let me get back to the chat here. Building 2 is totally done. Both buildings are completely done. The only thing that has to be added to them still is the automation for the roof, which is going to get done tomorrow, actually. So, as of tomorrow, both buildings will be computer controlled and roofs automated and like totally just ready to go. So if you have a telescope, I don't know if you're sending one here, but if you are, we're totally ready for any telescope. So after drop off, for liability reasons, we aren't going to have people staying until dark, but there is an Airbnb that's like 10 minutes from the site that is really good that we do recommend. Yeah, it's 12:12 my time. I'm filming with the A7S III and I have a 24mm G Master on it at f1.4, and my exposures are only like 1/6 of a second. And my ISO is cranked pretty high, but because it's just me talking and there's not a lot of fast motion, I can, you know, I can be a little more extreme on the exposure. The easiest way, in fact, the only way to remotely clean a telescope is to have us clean it for you. Unless someone invents a mirror cleaning robot, it's got to be the humans to do it. So we can definitely clean your mirrors, do any kind of technical work here on site. These observatories were not pre-made designs. These were from scratch. And Nico is coming out, Nico Carver, at the end of this month. He's going to come film here, a little observatory tour, and he's going to install a telescope here as well. So you'll see a Nico style video soon with all of the nitty gritty details. Can you see the Pipe Nebula naked eye? Which one is the pipe? And honestly, I might struggle because I've been staring at chat for so long I haven't actually stargazed. My eyes aren't really perfectly dark adjusted, but I can give it a go. Yes, I'm actually, after I'm done streaming tonight, I'm going to film a little observatory vlog. Um, maybe I'll do a little nightscapes as well because there's a lot of cool compositions to do out here. Like the thumbnail for this observatory stream I'm doing, I kind of want to reshoot that again because it's a cool little nightscape spot. If you would like, um, yeah, we could definitely use, if there's anything particular with your setup, if you have setup instructions, pictures of your gear. If you want to take a photo of your telescope set up, that could be great. But unless your system is a super crazy one, it's likely we've installed one similar before. So you're in good hands. We've installed a lot of different observatory telescopes. But yeah, if you have any particular instructions or anything specific you want us to do on your install, just go ahead and give us a note or send us an email with anything specific, and we'll make sure we get to it and get you up and running as desired. What setup did you have? Pipe Nebula is the nebula leading to Rho Ophiuchi. Also, you can see Rho naked eye. All right. We're going to try, but my eyes have to dark adjust. Yeah, I can see it. Took a bit to adjust, but yeah, it's totally there. Yeah, no worries. If you got those little 3D printed cable routers, we can get you neatly cabled up for sure. I think Rho would take more time for me to see naked eye. Meteor, I'm rewinding the stream. Where was this meteor? Dang it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how dark it is out here. It's nutty. There really is nothing out here, I will say. Oh, yeah, I think the ASI feed is in fact paused. I saw someone call that out, but I didn't believe it. Yeah, Alan, I'm thinking about it. I was trying to budget out like a dragonfly array style system to uh to do some stuff like that, but it's really, really, really expensive to do a camera lens array grid type telescope. If you check on the map, it's Bortle 1 here. Yeah, it's incredibly expensive because one, the lenses and then the cameras. I mean, you understand. It's like you think one telescope setup is expensive, then imagine 20 of them at once. Um, and yeah, rocking on 135 array would be nuts. That is exactly what I'm considering. The thing about arrays, well, one, oh wow, just saw a big fireball, medium fireball, other direction in the sky. Okay, so a virtual F number, the formula for that is the focal ratio, whatever that is, divided by the square root of the number of lenses you have. So if you have like an F2 and you have 20 lenses, it's 2 divided by square root 20. So it's a diminishing returns situation with the gains that you get, and you would definitely need like at least 20 lenses to push to F1. And you're looking at spending like at least 30K just for the lenses and cameras to hit that. Plus, you need to figure out custom mounting, and then you need fast narrowband filters for all of them. Like it ends up being really insanely expensive to the point where it's like you should just buy the ASA UFW 300, which is f1.3, 300 millimeters focal length, and it seems to make more sense than to deal with that complexity where you really just need tons and tons of money to hit F numbers like that. What happens if the power goes out? That's a great question. So when the power goes out, what happens is the universal power backup, or the uninterrupted power supply, the UPS that is hooked up to the observatory server and the roof motor, will kick on and it'll say close the roof. So if the power goes out, automatically closes the roof up. All the telescopes are safe when the power goes out. And then all the telescopes will be frozen in place because the power is out, you know? So all the telescopes will be stationary, the roof will be shut. Everything will go back to a safe condition, and the server computers will keep running and running until the backup battery runs out, and then the power will come back on at some point later. So that's what happens when the power goes out. Roof closes and everything stops. But it is a pretty rare occurrence at basically every remote observatory for that to happen. Uh, and we will have a generator on site too. So we'll have the backup gen, we'll have the backup battery. We've got multiple redundancies for roof closures. So the priority is to keep all the telescopes safe, so the roof will definitely close. How would the Rokinon array work without autofocus? That is another problem. Um, I was thinking that you could just use 3D printed uh, rings, or you probably have to use metal rings at that point because of flexure, and then you just use belt-driven focusers for all the Rokinons. But then you deal with like scaling the computer complexity, and you would need to have like a computer per each four, and then a master computer with some custom code to get all of them to talk together and to get each one synced up with each camera. It's a lot. It's a heavy amount of complexity that really is not feasible to deal with unless you have grant money. If you have grant money, then it's great. I would deal with that complexity if the grant money was there, but it's a lot. Here's a better alternative, though, to the Dragonfly array. Technically speaking, if we have 100 wide field systems here on site, I mean, even in this building, we're going to have more than 50 small refractor systems. Then you could achieve uh, Dragonfly or arrayed telescope numbers just with everyone in this building. But the thing is, you would just need to get everyone to plan and work together to collectively achieve this task. And I think that would be something really fun to do as like a community driven project from this observatory, is to get everyone imaging one thing. A massive collab, as one would say, Alan. That is correct. And that way, if everyone is pitching in to the cost of the collective telescope in this way, you know, it's not on one person to figure out all of that computational burden at one place. You have, you know, 50 people doing it at once instead. So, yeah, Astrobiscuit has done stuff like that. My friend Tim at Deep Sky Collective, or the New Horizons Project, Tim, he has been very successful at doing that as well with their projects, which is very inspiring. They have over 1,000 hour Andromeda Nebula image, and plenty other images that are pushing like 500 hours exposure time. And that was just like loosely collected together from different observatories all around. So it's pretty incredible what you can do in teams like that. Have buildings dedicated to that project and maybe give discounts. Nah, I see what you're trying to do, Ryan. Nah, the collective collaborations would just be for fun. I'm not assuming everyone would participate in things like that, but it would just be cool to do. But no discount. Unless you want to give me all full usage rights to your telescope, then maybe. And it better be faster than F3. Yeah, that's honestly, I think that's pretty much the new frontier for discovery work. Because the thing I've come to realize, like when I started doing surveys around the night sky looking for new objects, what I found was that there's a lot of bright things that you could look at and say, "Oh, that's obvious. It's an obvious wind, definitely a new nebula." And when you go to check whether or not someone knows about them, you'll come to find that our our number one inspiration, Marcel Drexler, has already gotten all of them. Uh, I like to call him the Sky King because during COVID lockdown, I think he just went so ham that he basically cleaned up everything in the night sky that you could find on surveys as far as planetary nebula go. And he just went super hard. So anything that's easy is gone. Um, Anything that was just below the ability for Marcel to find, I think I've found. And what's left is so faint that it's like basically impossible. Um, Unless you're willing to dump in like absolute insane numbers of exposure time. So like the new frontier is just low surface brightness. The new things are just fainter and fainter, and in order to like pierce through that veil, you just need more telescopes and more time, and it's very difficult. Most of my surveys and trying to look for things now at this point in time feels like I'm doing a Rorschach test because I'm just looking at smudges and saying, "Oh, this smudge looks extra smudgy. I'm gonna go point my telescope at it and see what's there." Maybe like 70% of the time, nothing is there. Yeah, the Andromeda arc is incredibly difficult. One of the more faint things, I would say. Are peers more expensive the bigger system gets? Say, if I just put a camera lens and telescope out there, how much would it cost? That's a good question. The goal with this is to make it more lower cost all around, and the way we inform our pricing decision is based on the size of the telescope because the size of the telescope changes how much of them you can fit in one building. So if one takes up more space, then the price would be higher. And obviously, like a little camera lens setup, especially if it's on a harmonic mount, occupies essentially zero space. And so I would like to see a future where it's like even cheaper to have just a camera lens than it is for a small telescope. But I don't know if we're exactly there yet, but it's definitely at the top of our minds to try to make things more affordable to encourage that at any point we can. So yeah, like camera lenses, and I think someone earlier in here was talking about smart telescopes, like Unistellar EV or a C Star. Those also consume basically no space. So I see no reason why those also shouldn't be lower cost than even the lowest cost. So it's something we're thinking about every day. Yeah, the thing is about making smaller piers is that basically the smallest you could go is pretty much the same base plate size for an AM5 or an AM3. That's the smallest it'll ever be, and because of that bolt pattern, it kind of has to be like that 4 inch size. Maybe you could do three, but just to hit that bolt pattern and to keep it from looking really silly, it's a good idea to keep it like 3 to 4 inches diameter. But yeah, I think with a camera lens setup, you could probably go pretty skinny on the pier for sure. I feel like I can either see Geigenshine or like a really bright airglow band. Huh. Here, let me point the Sony up at this, and we can see if there's anything cool going on. Oh wow, it's airglow. I think that's probably the brightest airglow I've ever seen. Wow, look at that. You see the stripes? It's so green. Green and purple. Wow. Hold up. That's crazy. Look at that. Crazy airglow. That's nuts. I don't think I've seen it that strong. This is the first time I've seen airglow naked eye. That band right there, I can see that with my eye right now. Well, that's cool. First time seeing airglow with the naked eye. These are really cool striations, though. It almost makes you want to end the stream to go take a photo of it. Hopefully, it holds, and I'll go snap some photos of it soon. But look at the bands. Those are so well defined. All right. Tripod. There it is. Big ups to Sony for the camera that can actually show what's going on right now. crazy. Yeah, it's my first time ever seeing an airglow band that strong naked eye. It looked like Geigenschein or like zodiacal light. I can still see it. It looks like a super faint dust band, but it's just that airglow. Huh. Yeah, it could be the flares. Uh, it looks, it literally looks like zodiacal light, but it's gray. I can't see any color to it, but it's definitely like cutting up into the zenith, like a big fat curved band that goes from the horizon all the way to zenith, and it takes like a this huge arc. That's nutty. That's really nutty. Yeah, it's a Rasa, Mr. Astro Room. Rasa 8 with the, I got a 2600 MC Duo for it. The goal was to just get a system that can absolutely light bucket out here. I'll show you guys a bigger view of what I'm getting in my photos here. So we're just hitting the row. You already know. It's looking delightful. I don't think you could ask for anything more. I feel like I could almost expose for longer. I know at f2 in 2 minutes I'm already really pushing it, but it's dark enough where I feel like it could probably handle it. I'm just afraid of clipping all of the stars super hard. Anyways, that's what we're working on with the Rasa. It's great. Oh yeah, that was the whole thought, Mr. Pistachio Enjoyer. Just easy bangers. You really can't go wrong. F2, one shot color. It's just guaranteed. It's too easy. Anyways, we'll keep the small one in the corner. Actually, no, I'll put it in the middle. I really don't want to, if there's a meteor, I really want it to show up on stream. So we're not going to block any meteor chance. Trying to wrap your head around what causes the dark stripe within the green air glow. It is also air glow. It's like magenta red air glow, and because of the way your eye perceives it, like in comparison, that air glow band is like perceptually darker than what surrounds it. It's still bright, it's just red. So like when you compare the two things by comparison, um, That part of the airglow looks like a dark band, but it's still chilling out here. It almost looks like the Milky Way at this point. It looks like a super faint Milky Way band. I can see that there's two of them now. Yeah, we should go point. We're gonna point two. We're gonna point up at it. This airglow stuff is so interesting to me. Um, and you guys have seen the Milky Way before. Come on, it's great. You've seen it. We've been looking at it for a while. When are you ever gonna get to see an airglow show like this one? Basically, never. Airglow is rare. It's very rare that you get it like this, too. When life gives you lemons, you know what I mean? Wow. Wow. Holy, holy heck, man. Okay, so you can see the three, man, there's four bands. They cut way past zenith. I need to get my fisheye lens. Hold up. Hold the phone. Yeah, hold up here. We got to Rho Ophiuchi is cool and whatnot, but get out of here. Get out of here. I'll leave it in the corner so I can grab the window again, but that's nuts. So airglow, figure now is a good time for an airglow lesson. It's not fully understood what it is or what causes it or what leads to like the time variances of airglow, but it's it's excited gases in the atmosphere just releasing pent up energy as light through the photoelectric effect. So the green ones, I think that's nitrous oxide or laughing gas, and then the red, I believe, is oxygen. But they're just emitting light on their own because they've been ionized. I think that's the right word. Forgive me if I'm wrong. The mosquitoes have been particularly friendly the last couple days. And by friendly, I mean vicious. This is probably the craziest airglow I've seen. Um, this isn't as high energy as sprites, jets, or elves. Um, that's a good question. I think it might be a similar effect, but yeah, the high atmosphere airglow phenomena like this, or at least the nighttime one, is definitely less energetic. But I think this is calling for a wide angle shot because it's definitely getting brighter. Yeah, we could do visual, but I don't have a visual telescope. We're not you could say we're not visual enthusiasts here. I would love to see a 6-inch standalone Rasa, but I don't know what camera would even work. Yeah, I'm going to use the restroom and I'm coming back with a wide angle and we're going to try. Oh, I think I just saw a meteor. I will definitely be there for Haley's Comet when it happens. But yeah, I'm going to use the restroom. I'm going to grab my R5 and a 14 mil and we're going to give this a rip. I'm going to raise the Sony up over the 4-foot roof line so we can try to do some nightscaping on the stream. I don't know how well my mic is going to play on my laptop, but my encoder is overloading, apparently. My CPU is at 5%, but still we overload. Really interesting. Anyways, I will be right back. Enjoy the airglow while I'm gone. I'm back. And I got my 14 mil and R5 with me. So I gotta grab my tripod from the building next door, and then I'm gonna raise you guys up so you can watch me, and then we're gonna do a little night scaping. Gotta love solar maximum, you know what I mean? If I can get this as high up as possible. Yes, Zapro, the Milky Way is visible right now, but there's airglow. You know what I mean? Gotta get the airglow. No, I dropped my phone. Oh. Hey, maybe we'll even get a couple red sprites on the horizon. You never know. Alright, it's you, me, and the airglow now. So, I have a Canon R5, Rockinon 14, which is a piece of doo-doo lens, but what we have. And I think I'm just going to run it up at f2.8 here. Try and get focused on Vega. Okay, we got Vega. All right. Now, I'm just going to take a 20-second ISO 6400 f2.8 exposure. I'll probably want to go longer just because it's pretty dark. But we'll see what we get. Take my intervalometer out. First exposure going. That's nuts. That is nuts. It looks like an oil slick, like in a parking lot, how it's iridescent. It has that same shape to it. Try and see how high it goes through the sky. I can definitely see one big band on the right, another on the left. There's like 4 or 5. I can see it how it looks in the photo, naked eye. I'll see how it looks by the Milky Way. Alright, game plan. I'm gonna go queue this up as a time lapse, but I'm gonna move over to the other side of the observatory, and then I'm just gonna set it to run. Because I think this would be cool in a time lapse, but oh, you know, I could just time lapse it right here actually, because I forgot there's actually a second observatory right here. Never mind. We're gonna time lapse in place. Actually, if I go on the other side, I can get both buildings, and I can also maybe get the Milky Way. I feel like going to the other side is probably going to be the play. Yeah. I'm going to turn my tracker off. Alright, tracker's off. We're going to set up a little time-lapse action. And maybe this will make it into my vlog or video later. I don't know if I'm going to crash out hard and just not be able to, but we'll see. Alright, I'm going to get this set up. Enjoy the airglow. Let me know if there's any red sprites. Ooh, okie doke. Let me peep the chat really quick. We got a time lapse going. It's looking great. It's pretty nuts. Oh, my telescope meridian flipped. That's not scary at all. Definitely not scary. There's no all sky camera right now. I actually just put in the order for the Raspberry Pi, and the ZWO camera we're going to be using as our all sky. So once I get like that stuff all set up, then we'll start having a all sky feed when the roofs are open. Um, quality is, so simply put, by resolution. Yes, technically, the all sky camera will have the same resolution. But the thing about this camera, the Sony, is that its pixels are so big and its readout is so sensitive that you can do real time Milky Way videos practically. Like I'm running pretty quick exposures, and you can see that you can still get good detail and color, but it's real time. The all sky camera will be running on more like 30 to 60-second exposures, whereas this right now is a 1/5 of a second. So it's kind of a separate whole world of difference when it comes to the time resolution of the Sony is just way better than what you could achieve with an all sky camera. But different. It's for a different purpose. So that is the main difference. I mean, it's so sensitive. You can see my red laptop screen with Flux on. You can still see my shadow on the observatory roof. It's very, very sensitive. Have fun with the Starship stream. I hope it goes well because I'm going to be passed out. My links on Instagram are broken. Oh well. People will find the stream. Hey, it was a plane. Yeah. Do you have any concerns as the amount of maintenance that you potentially have to do with so many people with lower end mounts and rigs that require more hands-on work? To be honest, lower end mounts, the only lower end mount here that would ever actually require work are people with EQ6Rs that would need like a worm gear adjustment. The rest of them, honestly, every harmonic mount here won't really have any maintenance to be done to it because I mean there's no backlash tuning to be done, so there's no maintenance. And then there's the Aptron mounts, which most of them are really nice, honestly. So the actual real amount of maintenance I perceive on the mount front, currently is not too much. Maybe that's naive to think that, but there are a fair amount of premium mounts that are supposed to go in here as well. So I'm not worried about the predominant lower end mount that's here are harmonics, ZWO harmonics, and I really don't see how those could require much maintenance beyond like maybe you have a lemon and it has to get replaced. There's no actual labor that like as far as I know tuning that you do to those mounts. To be quite frank with you, the higher end mounts honestly require more tuning than most of the lower ones I've used, especially well, in particular to name names, software bisque mounts always have required the most hands-on. Then it's kind of like maybe some worm gear adjustments on the EQ6s, maybe a pulley adjustment on a CEM 70. Nothing too crazy for any of it. A lot of that can be done in the daytime. But yeah, we've seen a thing or two here. This ain't the first rodeo, you know what I mean? Done a lot of troubleshooting in my time. All right, I'm gonna check on my row. See how my row's going. Ooh, Yes, there is a SWGTI getting shipped here. You know, as long as the payload is small, within its range, it's got an ASCOM driver. I don't see why not. There's no reason why it shouldn't. You know what I mean? It's the little mount that could. I will personally slew your Star Adventure 2i for you, Brody. I'm the slew master. That's what they call me here. My mount is going sicko mode right now. Calm down. Jeez Louise, Aptron. I forgot to turn anti-dew on my camera sensor. Gonna take a second for that to wash out. Yeah, the thing about the roof north or south is that if you open the roof to the north, then you have to have the tall wall in the south, which is also it's no good. I mean, no matter what way you cut it, it always sucks for where you open the roof. And that's the one thing that's going to get changed about this building in the next month is we're going to be pushing the roof further back. Because trust me, I know all the good stuff is in the south, and I really want to have good south visibility, but also good east and west to maximize exposure times on other things. So we're gonna try and get the best of all the worlds, but the roof is definitely gonna need to get kicked back further. Yeah, the visibility from the north wall is really good. You can still hit from the south wall. You get 30 degrees still, so that means you can still do Rho and Lagoon. But from the north end of the building, there's slightly more time. The way we're going to arrange the scopes is it's going to be the tallest ones are going to go to the north wall, and the smaller ones will push further to the south wall. That way, we can ensure that there's no one stuck with a big scope blocking their south view, you know? So that's going to be the layout plan. And then in the next month, the roof is going to get kicked back more, and then it'll be the best of all of the worlds. Yeah, that's the challenge with doing astro from a backyard. Not only do you need to have a backyard in the first place, which is a pretty big ask, but you have to have a backyard that actually has good visibility, which is not super common. I'm gonna move the live stream camera in a second, lower it down. I'm just starting up some other telescopes right now. Hey, I still got 25 people in here. You guys should go to bed. It's almost 2. For the smallest telescope sizes, it's 200 a month to host here. Which is the cheapest in